Do you understand? Leave that aside. Let's come back to Nigeria and speak about what is happening in our streets, in our villages, in our markets. These people have not done any bold step. The only bold thing they did was to shut down IREV. The only bold thing they did was to misapply force on the weak Nigerian institutions that we have. Now, ask this question. For someone that has been playing God, in quotes, for such a long time like Alhaji Tinubu, and it is time for a mortal, like maybe Obi, or somebody to put him in his right place. For someone who has wielded so much power in a country like Nigeria, where is that power in the last 6 months for them to apply in our welfare and our security? They cannot do it. They are in power for themselves, for their ego, for their wealth, for their comfort, for their own considerations, not for Nigeria. We are paying about every soul that is killed, that is abducted and killed. We are paying by every naira that is paid as ransom. And we are committed to stopping that. And stopping we will. And I'm telling you, give these people...
as a member of the opposition?
Stopping we will whenever we get the power to do this.
So between now...
yeah, sorry, go on. Let me finish. Mm-hmm. Where is the power, the same kind of power they used in getting Mahmoud Yakubu 4 a.m. to declare them against the provisions of the Constitution? Where is that power to prop up the exchange rate of Naira, to stop the killings? They don't have it and they will not do it.
Well, you did say that you wanted to move forward because obviously we've established the fact that the election is over. You have grievances against the results, but he's been affirmed by the Supreme Court.
You said methodical. Let's now be methodical. What I want to tell you is that the big picture, we say democracy is government. Well, let me just go. Democracy is not government of the people, for the people, by the people. Democracy is government of the people who have earned their rights, for the people who can protect their constitution, by the people who can exercise civil liberties.
So given what
when they say people, what kind of people? The people who will fold their arms while their constitution is violated, then democracy is not for you. I have said it. It belongs to only those who can practice it with due respect.
So
just hold on.
Right. I was going to ask you what your assessment of the state of democracy is in Nigeria, given what you just said.
It is poor. The people have to wake up to the challenges. For a people that are ready to accept anything, then anything will happen to them. Again, in quotes. You see, a fraction of 1% difference in a political DNA of a society can spell the difference between servitude and freedom. Last year you saw it. Indian farmers sat in a location for 1 year because of one obnoxious government policy until Indian government reversed it. Before the war in Israel, Israelis were in the street for 16 weeks, counting. You can count so many other countries. Nigerians are not yet ready to do this. As I'm speaking to you, the likes of my former friend who would say it's treason, is all that, I am educating Nigerians. Rise up for your rights. No justice of Supreme Court will give you democracy.
Yeah,
you have to go out.
But they're not going to be able to reverse that, are they?
They will.
I mean, they
Nigerians,
can't.
This is
constitutionally.
No. Constitution and legal, and this is where I differ. With all modesty, okay? I don't mind being alone on this, but I know I'm not breaking any law, and I have never had a criminal record.
So what are you
But
actually
let
calling
me
on
finish.
the people to do?
I'm
I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
I'm getting to that.
Sure.
I'm
Just
saying,
that we're running out of time. So
I'm saying
yeah.
that, and again, this is instructive. I'm saying that we, the people that stood to form the Nigerian Constitution today, it is not over. For we, the people, power is that which remains standing when there is nothing to oppose it. A leader is he who remains followed when there is nobody to challenge. Authority is that which is implemented when there is nothing to stop it. They have the leaders in place now with wielding authority with political power. But power and sovereignty belongs to the Nigerian people, we the people, on whose behalf an elected government is exercising that authority. Now, where the people are dissatisfied with the rulings of their courts, they own Nigeria. Alhaji Tinubu does not own Nigeria. Peter Obi does not own Nigeria.
Yeah, but the
Nigerians on the streets own Nigeria.
But the
and
APC,
listen, I'm getting to the point.
The APC would argue that you don't own Nigeria either. That you have a portion of the electorate that voted for you.
I'm not telling you it is not over. I'm telling you it is not over. For Peter Obi and me, it is over. For we, the people, the Nigerian people, at any point in time, they can take back Nigeria. Especially where their constitution has been violated. Especially where all that the Supreme Court ended up doing was to sustain the unconstitutionality of a certain election.
Let me come in here, because between now and 2027, which is when the next presidential election is due, how do you think things will play out? And what role do you see yourself and Peter Obi and the Labour Party playing in that?
When the Nigerian people rise to defend their constitution, anything can happen. And
well, that sounds quite a bit worryingly frightening.
Look, we are in a worryingly frightening situation. I told you I'm not here to repeat what you've been hearing. And I was prepared to come here. I have never had a criminal record. I love my peace. And I'm repeating that when the Nigerian people decide, Nigeria is theirs for the taking. And any fraudulently elected government, is fair game for them. Nigerian people have the right, the constitutional right. As we speak now, DSS can go and interpret. They have lawyers there, police, IJ, and they can go and interpret. The Nigerian people have that power, not Obi or Atiku or anybody. Nigerian people have the power at any point in time to take their country. All they have to do, not even seek approval. They give notice.
It's interesting.
And listen. You turn away the barrel of your guns, away from the Nigerian people, and point them at the enemies of Nigeria. This country belongs to Nigerians.
Well, you've made that point.
When Nigerians decide, but if they want to practice democracy, they will take this country. It has happened before. The military decided, they took Nigeria for so long, they fixed Nigeria and handed it back. Now, whoever thinks that the Supreme Court will give democracy from any courtroom, the way it appears now is mistaken.
It's interesting.
Nigerians have to go out.
You've made that point.
Nigerians have to go out and democracy. And this is not a treasonable comment. I am not a careless person. I have never.
So you've thought the things you're saying through.
I thought it through very, very well. This is the Constitution is made by Nigerian people. The Supreme Court is a sub of one chapter that the Nigerian people constitutionally came out that we the people, and the same constitution says that no person or groups of persons shall take over the governance of Nigeria or any part thereof except as prescribed by this constitution. And go and read the Constitution of Nigeria. The serving Alhaji Tinubu Malam Shettima government breaches the Nigerian Constitution.
Right. Okay. Can I come in here for a minute?
Yes.
Because you mentioned Kashim Shettima.
Yes.
Your brother, the spokesman of the Northern Elders Forum, Hakeem Baba-Ahmed, is of course now serving as a special advisor on political matters to the Vice President Kashim Shettima, which means that he might have to help Mr. Shettima to devise a strategy for dealing with political opponents such as yourself, his brother. Does that rub you up the wrong way, given all the things you've just said about that government? Your own brother is now working for them?
Charles, I am after the government. I'm not after appointment. I am after the president and the vice president who were fraudulently elected, unconstitutionally elected. I cannot come down to speak about any appointment. He is by far my senior brother. So there's no way to say he's an adult or he has his own rights or his own life to live. Our politics are completely detached.
Okay.
Come back to Shettima, and I'll talk about Shettima.
Well, let me talk about something.
A very irresponsible gentleman.
Let me talk about something that is imminent.
Be he the vice president or whatever that he is, I'm telling you that he has conducted himself in so many ways in these 6 months that demean the office of vice president, and I'm not happy about it, especially the way he's been treating our elder, Atiku Abubakar. For God's sake, Atiku Abubakar is getting to 80. He is by no measure of imagination Shettima's mate. How can Shettima come out and say that the Kanuris crack jokes with Fulanis, therefore he's going to retire him to Dubai or Morocco? And these are very personal issues. What kind of an irresponsible statement is that to make?
Well, I am not privy to having said that. For him,
I am,
said
and
that.
it is true.
And obviously,
true.
the vice president's office.
So what I'm saying is that leave Shoyinka out.
Yeah.
Bring who matters to me, like Shettima. Bring Alhaji Tinubu. Look, even Tinubu, I have much respect for Tinubu. You heard Shawari criticizing me for me calling Tinubu uncle. I call him uncle. Where I said, you saw the picture that I went to greet him in the mosque, and they said that I went to plead. No, it's just respect. But the fact that I respect his age doesn't mean that I will not call him a drug dealer.
Yeah, well,
he did, or a certificate forger.
Well, I don't think you should call him those things.
I will.
Unless you have
I will. That is why I said do not
evidence
swear him in.
Yeah,
the evidence is there.
Yeah, but can I just make the point that on Arise News, they have a right to reply to the things that you said.
One of them will come tomorrow.
And we're giving them that.
One of them will come tomorrow. Let them come and say that.
We're giving them that right.
Let them come and say that he didn't forfeit $460,000.
Well, let
them come and say that the
I want to tackle you. I want to bring up issues, right. And I don't mean to interrupt you. My apologies, okay. But I want to deal with issues because we've got about 5 minutes or so left. I want to deal with issues that are upcoming because you did say at the outset you wanted to move forward. Off-season elections are, of course, due on November the 11th. In 3 states, Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo. The Inspector General of Police has just redeployed the Commissioner of Police.
That's not my line. Leave
in
it.
Imo.
I don't have any answer for you. That's not my line.
Right, because I was going to ask you, is it, I mean, we saw, for example, to assess the chances of the Labour Party there.
That's not my line. Come back to the substance of democracy, of what the Fourth Republic has done. You know, we all have our specialities in this game that we do. I don't know about those elections.
Yeah, but you're the vice presidential candidate of the party.
Not that
and
vast.
The more your party gains political traction,
speak to me on
where it is good for you.
I know, speak to me where I have strength on. That one is for the party chairman and His Excellency, my boss, Peter Obi. They can handle that, but come back to the issue of constitutional breach. Come back to the issue of the rights of the Nigerian people. Come back to the fact that I keep telling you, it is not over. If the Nigerian people decide to rise, they will reclaim Nigeria. The Europeans came. There was no constitution. And they had power. They colonized Africa. So power is when you have the power to do and nobody can say. Now, Nigerians can take this power because their constitution has been breached.
Right.
That constitution is their
So
own. They had faith.
Right.
Nigerians had faith.
I think you've made that point over and over again.
Right.
We've got about 3 minutes left.
Yes.
What is your next move?
Continue in this line of protecting Nigerian constitution. Continue in this line of creating awareness in Nigerian political system. Continue in the Labour Party and the Obedient Movement with Peter Obi. Continue to sensitize Nigerians and then continue to tell the people in power that they have unconstitutionally taken over Nigeria, sustained by the Supreme Court, and they are destroying our dear country. They are destroying the future of our children. And for doing that, I will continue to say exactly what I have said in this interview.
If they were to...
There is no way to fight an individual or group of individuals like to destroy their country or to destroy the future of their children.
But if they were to approach you and Peter Obi and the Labour Party and said they wanted to sit down with you and look at the sort of reforms, for example, that could be put into Nigeria to make this place better for everybody, for example, things like restructuring, electoral reform, would you participate in that discussion?
Can Tinubu Shettima resign and get the Senate president sworn in to conduct a new election?
Well, it is unlikely that they'll do that.
So we cannot support them. We cannot. Anything that deviates from how the Constitution provides it, we will not.
Okay. Yusuf Datti Baba-Ahmed, Vice Presidential Candidate of the Labour Party. It was lovely to have you here. Thank you very much indeed.